Hi there, in this video I'm going to do a vlog from my bird hide. So at the moment it's late March. I did notice at the moment that the blossom is out on the trees. Now this is only out for about a week or two, so you have to jump on the opportunity while it's there. What I thought I would be able to do is use some of the branches with blossom on for perches to photograph birds from my bird hide. So I'm going to take advantage of that today, and I thought what I'd do is something slightly different, and I'm going to film this in order, so it's more of a vlog style, because I don't always do that. Sometimes I take photographs on one day and then film all the bits in between on a separate day, but you're going to see things in the order that it happens, and so as I see the birds, you'll know about them as well. So stick with me, and I hope this video helps you to enjoy your photography. The first thing that I need to do is put down some food for the birds. Now, the more different varieties of food that you can put down, the more different species of birds you'll attract. Now, this is mixed seed, and I put this on a table and on the ground feeder. Now, I store all of my seed here in these big tubs inside the bird hide. I buy the seed in bulk because it's a lot cheaper, but it's all right on hand next to where I feed the birds. One little tip about your feeders: do make sure that you clean them regularly, because it's really easy to spread disease amongst the birds through dirty feeders. Dotted all the way around my feeding station, I've got trees or tree stumps with holes drilled into the side of them. Now, the reason for this is it attracts birds to land on the side of these stumps, and what I do is I push suet pellets into the holes so the birds come to try and get the food out of the holes, and while they're on the side of the stumps, I take their photograph. Now, this one particularly is freestanding, so I can move it about. Now, I did get asked a question about why I push the suet pellets into the holes with a screwdriver, and it's quite simple really. The deeper that I push them into the holes, the more it gets compacted, the least likely it is to fall out, and it just means that the birds take a little bit longer on the side of the branch or the trunk just to get the food out. The final thing that I need to do is just attach this perch with some blossom to my setup. Now, yesterday I did spend some time just rejigging all of my perches, because if you don't do that, your pictures get very samey. And I did put a perch just here attached to this crossbar that I've put on. Now, I haven't used a crossbar for quite a long while, but it is really useful for suspending perches from, so that they're at a very similar height to the feeders. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this branch just here. Now, you've probably heard me say before, if you're a regular to the channel, that I use Velcro to attach all of my perches, because it's just very, very quick and easy to change the perches out. So when the time comes to put this new branch onto the crossbar, it's just a very quick and simple job to wrap a few strips of Velcro around it. So I can't talk at the same time as doing it, so I'll stop the video while I attach this branch. Inside the hide here, where I poke the camera through, I've just filled the hole with a little insert. Now, this insert has a camera lens attached to the outside. Now, I'll let you into a secret, it's not actually a camera lens, it's an old mug that's designed to look like a camera lens, but it just gets the birds used to something sticking through the aperture. Once this is out, I've then got a table just here that I can rest the camera on, and just over here I've got a bean bag that I use on the top of this shelf, and that keeps the camera nice and stable. Now, the reason why I don't normally vlog at the same time as taking photographs of the birds is because obviously talking to the camera can really disturb the birds. So now I've spent all of that time prepping everything at the beginning and talking to the camera, I am going to have to wait a little bit longer for the birds to gain confidence and reappear. But just at the moment, looking out at the feeders, there's already a goldfinch just there, and they're quite brave birds. After about 5 minutes I've already now seen a pheasant, a collared dove, a robin, a blue tit and a goldfinch, so all the birds are starting to come back. So really my blustering about this morning hasn't bothered them that much. Just over on the other side of the paddock in front of where the hens are, there's a mallard, and it's right on the edge of a shadow and sunlight. Now if it creeps forward ever so slightly into the sunlight, it could make for a really striking photo because the background will be in shadow but the bird will be lit. So I'm hoping in a few minutes that it'll just step forward, maybe only about 30 centimeters, and it'll be in the full sun but with a dark background. If you are enjoying this video this morning, don't forget to click like, subscribe and the bell notifications, because that really helps me out and it makes sure that you don't miss out on any of my future content. So now the anticipation is for a bird to land on the branch with the blossom on. Now this is what it looks like without a bird on. I've just taken a shot with an SLR. Now I've got the F number set at F8, so I've got plenty of depth of field on the bird, and this is absolutely fine because the background is still far enough away that it gets thrown out of focus. So you do have to think about that. If you have too narrow a depth of field, what can often happen is you can get the front part of the bird in focus but maybe the tip of the tail out of focus. Now today I'm quite fortunate because it's a very bright day, so having a slightly more closed down aperture is not a problem because I'm not suffering with getting enough light into the camera. To help try and get better pictures, what I try and do is not take photographs of the birds while they're on the feeders. I tend to wait for them to be on one of the more natural perches. To give you an example, this reed bunting here is feeding off the ground feeder, and it's just not very natural because you've got the harsh black plastic. It's all right for a little bit of a video to insert into the main video, but really if you want to try and create a really stunning picture, then what you want to do is try and make the background and the perch as natural as possible. My talk of the birds quickly returning after my initial talking to the camera has proved a little bit premature because I've been in the hide now for about half an hour and they've not actually come back in any great numbers. I've seen the mallards, the male and the female. I've seen a pheasant, some collared doves, and I've seen the odd sighting of some other birds, but they've not come back in any great numbers. And so that's the thing about bird photography. You don't know what you're going to get, and it does require lots and lots of patience and just sitting. And to be fair, me talking to the camera is probably not helping. I've just had a visit from some wood pigeons. In fact, they're still on the table feeder at the moment, but one of them landed on the top of one of my freestanding tree stumps. So I managed to get a really nice photograph and some video of it sitting on the top. And you have to take these moments when you can, but that's the beauty of these freestanding stumps. These bigger birds really do like to land on the top of them and scan the environment. So I've just had a goldfinch land in the tree behind where I've set up my perches that's got blossoms on, and I got quite a nice shot of it up in the top of the branches with blossom all around it. So it wasn't quite the shot I was thinking of was the perch that I've set up, but I've still got a shot of a goldfinch with some blossom in the background, so that's a bit of a bonus. I've just got a shot of a jackdaw. Now that shows that the birds are feeling very confident at the moment because jackdaws are particularly skittish birds. They don't come until you've been sat in the hide for over an hour, and then even the slightest movement or noise will scare them off. So that shows that the alert level has gone right down. But I've also just got a picture of the reed bunting up in the tree. So compare that with earlier when we saw the reed bunting on the edge of the feeder, which looked completely unnatural, to this shot here of the reed bunting in the tree, and how much more of an improvement that looks when it's in its natural environment. Just at the moment there are about 3 or 4 goldfinch hanging around the feeders, and they're tantalizingly close to going onto the perch with the blossom on it. They tend to be flitting onto all the other perches, but as of yet they've not landed on the perch that I want them to. So fingers crossed anytime soon. There is a case for having a single perch next to the feeders and nothing else for the birds to land on, because at the moment, the way I've got it set up, I've got so many different places for the birds to land that by the time they land somewhere and I move the camera, quite often they've flown off or they get scared off by the movement. Now, this is done on purpose because I like the variety. A single perch and a single feeder perhaps would give you a slightly better hit rate, but it's just not as much fun. Well, that's it for this morning. I'll show you some of the best pictures that I've got from the hide today. So I hope that's been a little bit different. You've seen what I've seen at the same time. I didn't know what I was going to get, and even though I'd planned for a bird to land on the branch with a blossom, it didn't happen. So this is the kind of thing that I got in previous years, with a bird landing on a branch with blossom. Hopefully I'll get another chance before the blossom disappears, but I've only got about a week left before that happens. But it just goes to show that you can't always plan. You've just got to take what you're given. I didn't see the woodpecker and I didn't see the moorhen come back, but I've still enjoyed myself and I've got some reasonable photographs. Well, there's another video come to the end. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, do let me know down below in the comments or nip over to my Instagram account, that's @Oakden Photography, and leave me your comments there. Now, if you do like what I do on the channel, you can also visit my Teespring store. There's a link for that down below in the description. There I've got a range of merchandise on offer, so go and check that out. But you don't have to spend any money at all to support the channel. You can do that simply by clicking like, subscribe and the bell notifications, because that really helps me out and it makes sure that you don't miss out on any of my future content. Watch out for next week's video. That goes live on Sunday. In the meantime, you can go and check out this video just up here. But all that's left now is to say, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.